Yeah, so, okay, we'll record it just in case people want to sort of refer to it. We won't keep you more than an hour. What I'd like to do is, some of you are here joining through your webcams, and others have either dialed in or just using your computer sound, which is fine, whatever works for you, but I would like us to introduce ourselves. So if everybody could do that, we'll go around. In fact, you know what I'll do is I'll call the folks who've registered, because I don't know everybody and don't see everybody, and some of you are on phone lines that I can't, that I don't know who it is. So I'll call out, and then if you're here, introduce yourself. So just say, hey, who are you? What school are you at? What institution? And what do you do? What's your job outside of ALD? So you all have full-time jobs. You're volunteering for ALD. Thank you so much. But what do you do on campus? So has Giancarlo from Montclair, have they joined? I don't think so. Okay. Jessica Fowle. Thought she was here. I'm looking through my list. Oh, could have sworn I saw that name. And from Kalamazoo. Shakita Jones from West Georgia. Okay, these folks might show up. Laurel Recker from Cal State Monterey Bay. No, and I know Laurel is a co-advisor, but okay. Lynn Heiler from Kentucky.
Hi, I'm Lynn Heiler, and I'm from the University of Kentucky. We're located in central Kentucky, which is Lexington. I am a program coordinator in the Children's Center, and one of my primary responsibilities are honorary societies. So Phi Beta Kappa, Phi Kappa Phi, and now ALD follow under our center.
Great. Thank you, Lynn. Mm-hmm. Trish is next on my list, and I forgot that I didn't introduce myself. Yes, so I'm going to introduce myself, and then we'll have Trish, and then we'll go down the list. I don't know what order this list is in. I think by registration date. Just also a little tip for participating in webinars and Zoom is if there is some ambient noise in your office or down the hallway or outside your door, if you want to just mute yourself when you're not speaking, that would help just sort of cut down, because there's going to be a lot of us on this call today, so it would help. And thanks, Trish, you're helping troubleshoot some folks dialing in, right? Great, thanks, because I'm not paying attention. So, nice to meet everybody. My name is Eileen Merberg, and I'm the Executive Director of Alpha Lambda Delta. We're headquartered in upstate New York, a little town called Fairport, which is a suburb of Rochester, New York, in between Buffalo and Syracuse. The office has been here for about 4 years. It used to be in Macon, Georgia, but you're all new, so you wouldn't know that, so it doesn't matter. But we're here in Rochester, upstate New York. So again, thanks for being here. Trish, you're next.
Hi, I'm Trish. I'm Director of Communication for Alpha Lambda Delta. So I work on all the web, social media, but then also manage the scholarship process, publications, random things like that.
Great. Okay. Jenny's trying to get audio to work. I don't know if she needs to. Oh, Jenny's here. There we go. Okay. Great. Okay, you're next. Oh, so I thought I heard her say something. Okay, we'll come back to you, Jenny. Oh, she's muted. Jenny, we'll come back. Natalie Lopez, I think, is here. Do you have sound, Natalie? I see a microphone, hello? But you're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Hi, so my name is Natalie Lopez, and I am an academic program coordinator in University College at Montclair State University. So I support students. So with my team, we do programming to help undeclared students explore the majors offered at Montclair to help them make a more informed decision when committing to their major.
Great. Okay, good. Thanks, Natalie.
You're welcome.
Brandon Johnson. I know he's here. I see a microphone. Brandon, are you there? Brandon, are you printing? I hear something.
He just said, "I'm here. I can't figure out how to work audio."
Oh, okay. Oh, so there we go. Okay. Hi, Brandon. Brandon's here. So Zoom can be challenging if you don't. So for those who, if you do want to sort of chime in, sometimes it's easier with Zoom to use the phone, the dial-in number. So rather than trying to figure out your computer's audio capability or speaker capability, if you just want to call in, you can still see, you're logging in first and seeing us, and then you call in with that number. You got a phone number on your confirmation. You can just call in if you want to do that. I'll leave it up to you. Okay, Liz Wason, is Liz here? Nope, I don't think so. Okay, Deanna Vanderwielen from UW Oshkosh. Don't think so yet. Okay, Stephanie Madsen is here. Is Stephanie work?
Yes, I'm here.
There we go. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi.
Can you introduce yourself and say what you do at McDaniel?
Sure, of course. I'm a professor of psychology at McDaniel. I'm also our associate dean for student success. And so I'm an academic dean for students in their first and second year.
Great. Okay. Kate Johnson and Jennifer Smith, you're still there?
Yes, we're still here. We are from Murray State University, and we work in the Office of Student Engagement and Success, which focuses on retention and programming and undeclared advising and all of the above.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, Jennifer. Hi, both. Thanks. Cami Dean. Cami's here. So maybe Cami might be having, oh, she's working on audio. Okay, Cami, we'll come back in case you get to figure that out. Tyler Benbow from Warner. Not here, I don't think. Danielle Jennings.
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah, so I work, I'm as a academic advisor in the Advising, Retention, and Career Center at the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire. So we have a centralized advising model, so I directly advise students in the social sciences cluster, so about like 300 students on my caseload. So primary advisor, helping them get through their requirements, and so also acting as advisor to this group and a liaison to our honors program too, to help with any advising needs there.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here. Matthew Brown.
Hi, everybody. I'm Matt Brown. I direct the Office of First Year Experience at Pace University on the New York City campus. And so I oversee the first year seminar class that our faculty instruct, as well as oversee first year academic advising.
Great. Okay. Thank you. I see Giancarlo has joined. I don't know if you have audio, Giancarlo. We're doing introductions. Can you hear us and or chime in? Maybe not. Okay. And then Emily from UNC Greensboro, North Carolina, Greensboro, just chimed in. If everybody wants, if you're able to open up your chat feature, which you can do if you hover over the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little icon with three dots, like someone's texting, the 3-dot icon like someone's texting you, and that'll show up on your screen. So welcome, Emily. And a brand new advisor, literally, I think hours ago, I was notified of Mackenzie Winslow at UNC Greensboro. So welcome to both of you. Okay, so anyone I missed, is there anyone that I didn't call out that wants to introduce themselves that can chime in through sound? There's Cami. Hi, Cami. Okay, great. Okay, so thanks for that. It took you know, a few minutes, but I thought it was important to just introduce each other, to know that we're, you know, there's a lot of variety of advisors across the country within a variety of positions, many similar advising and first year experience and honors and faculty, orientation, new student programs. It runs the gamut, and it's anyone who is interested in advising ALD and supportive of first year student success. So we really appreciate all advisors. So I'm going to, I do have a PowerPoint that I want to share, just a sort of brief overview. It's actually one that Trish developed for our conference that was called ALD 101. And she used it for student officers and advisors, whether they were new or not, just sort of an overview of all things ALD advising. And so I sort of tweaked it a little for this webinar. But I'm not going to show, I'm not going to put it in show slideshow mode, because I want to toggle between that and our website. So it's just easier. Okay, so tell me if you see a PowerPoint presentation.
Sure do.
Yeah, okay, great. Okay, so, and then I think I can, do you see ALD's website as well?
Yes.
Right, okay, great. And then Trish, I can no longer see the chat screen. Might be too much going on, and so if you don't mind chiming in on that.
Yep.
And and then alert me to anything that comes up. Thank you. Okay. All right. If I move, I have two screens. Did the PowerPoint just disappear?
No.
You can still see it?
Yes.
Huh, okay. Because I moved it to another screen, so. Yeah, sorry guys. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it here. All right, so not gonna get into a whole lot of the history of ALD, but just know that if you are new to Alpha Lambda Delta, which of course this webinar is for new advisors, you may not be all that familiar with its history, but we've been around a really long time. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about the history, and then as described in the overview, we'll talk particularly about inductions, because that's sort of what's coming up next, and then a year in the life of a chapter, and then point you to some resources. So we do offer a lot online, and it might be so much that you're really not sure where to look for what. So we'll talk about that. So we were founded in 1924, so just celebrated our 95th birthday. And so looking to 5 more years to really do some nice celebrations for 100. But you know, that's a real long time, quite established as an organization. We were founded at the University of Illinois, where we still do have a chapter today. Mariah Leonard was the woman, the Dean of Women, that started it. And our first, our second chapter, our first expansion, I should say, was at Purdue University. And then up to about 200 and over 200, I think we say somewhere 275 chapters nationwide. So one of the things I wanted to point out about this, and we can talk about this, if this is a subject of interest, we can have a separate conversation about this, but Alpha Lambda Delta is a member of ACHS, and ACHS might be new to you, you've probably never heard of it, but it's an accrediting body. The Association of College Honor Societies is what that stands for. And it means that we meet the criteria for a legitimate, nonprofit, charitable, legitimate academic honor society. Your students are probably getting invited to a lot of organizations. They might call themselves honor societies, or they might call themselves honors organizations. They might use Greek letters, they might not, but you're going to find that when you start to invite students to join ALD, they're also going to have been invited to join a lot of other organizations, and they're not all legitimate, and they're not all real honor societies, and they're certainly not certified by ACHS. So be careful about that. Just be informed to know what the difference is and how to help students decide which invitations to accept and which ones are really just after their money and they won't hear from them again. So I just thought I'd point that out about ACHS. So again, we have over 275 chapters. If you're curious about this, if again you're new, you might not know how many members we do have. So we induct about 25,000 students across all our chapters every year. Our fiscal year begins and ends in the summer, so it's June 1 to May 31st. So that's how we count. Spring is our primary time when students are invited and join because it's based on fall grades. We'll talk about that in a minute. But around 25,000 students join, which is a good, healthy number. We have over 1 million lifetime members. The entire organization is run out of a small office in Rochester, New York. There are 4 staff members, myself, Trish, Christine, you'll hear a lot from as the bookkeeper, and she's the one that sends you checks and requests checks from you, but also helps with MHS, which is our online member management system. And then Kathy's a part-time office assistant, so there's 4 of us. And then there is a national board of directors that are represented by campuses all over the country. Our president's from Longwood University in Virginia, Baylor University, Kentucky, Eastern Kentucky. So all over the country we have board members that serve as like a board of directors, national council it's called. So Trish has offered, well, we've offered, and Trish has led discussions on the scholarship program. I know she did. I'm looking at my schedule back there. She offered one just the other day, and there is another one coming up on January 7th. So I won't spend a whole lot of time on the scholarship process if you can participate in our other webinar on that topic. But we do offer quite a few scholarships to our students. It's sort of our signature program. And they're, you know, a lot of students are awarded them, 96 every year, and we award $211,000 in scholarships. So let me show you. I'm going to toggle over to the website. So again, website, there's really not anything, not any information we don't share on our website. It's just a matter of knowing where it is and finding it. I strongly suggest, as an ALD advisor, that you bookmark nationalald.org. Whether you use this, I use Chrome, so whatever you're using, I think most people might use Chrome, but whatever it is, Explorer or otherwise, bookmark it, favorite it, whatever it is. But it's the first tab on my on my computer. Doesn't have to be the first tab on yours, I'm sure, but I bookmark it so it's really easy to get to. So for scholarships, everything is all right here under the scholarship tab. There's an overview, and each of our signature scholarships is up here. We also offer some other things for members, a senior book award for your graduating senior with the highest GPA. We have some chapter awards, and then this is a new feature we just added, is external scholarships. So just some resources around national scholarships outside of those that ALD award. So it just lists a bunch of different external scholarships. But pretty much everything you need is there. Okay. So let's just dive into induction ceremony. So I didn't, one thing I didn't do when I looked at the list of you all here registered today is to assess whether you do a fall or a spring induction ceremony. So I'm going to gear the conversation towards spring invitations and spring inductions, and I can answer questions if you have questions, if you do it in another time frame. For the most part, most of our chapters, 90+% of our chapters, invite and induct new members in the spring semester, once a year in the spring. And and it's also the method that we highly recommend. You do have a choice, and you can do that. You can invite and induct students in the fall, in the spring, or both semesters. So one of the reasons that chapters do it in the fall, and by doing it in the fall, that means they wait for the whole first year to pass. So a student starts in the fall, does whatever they do, 4 grades in that fall semester, then in the spring, and then they'll take that cumulative average of 3.5 or higher, and for those who achieve that, they'll get invited. Maybe in the summer or August, and then they'll induct in the fall. Some do it that way because they might have a fall event they want to have the ceremony in conjunction with, or family weekend, homecoming, fall festival, convocation, whatever it is. But we recommend the spring for several reasons. We're first year student success, and so we want to hook students in early. We want to reward them for good grades early in their college career. And the sooner you can do that, so the more engaged they are, and they are still first year students. If you wait until the fall, then in their mindset, they're really not first year students anymore, and as they become sophomores, etc. One of the biggest reasons, and I think a very important reason to induct in the spring, is because it then has an impact on retention rates. And so retention is the retention of first year students from first to second year. And if you waited and invited them in the fall, you don't see that impact. But when you invite them in the spring, they're much more engaged on campus, much more connected to campus. And our research, we're doing some study on this, and our research has shown that students who join in the spring are retained at a 10% higher rate than those who were invited to join and didn't. So we know we have a positive impact on retention, and retention's a big deal. Okay, so enough on that piece, but so we're just going to assume that you induct in the spring. And so now's the time, right around now, to start, if you haven't already, I mean, there's still time, but even a month ago, you could start thinking about this, but we'll just say that now's the time to begin planning for that. And so many of you might already have a spring induction date in mind, but that would be one of the first things to do. Do you do it at the same time? Is it always the first week of April? Is it always mid-March? Pick a date that is going to work for your induction ceremony. Begin with the end in mind, pick that, and then everything else sort of falls in place before it, of things to do before it. So pay attention to, we know Easter varies widely every year, so take a look at Easter, which I believe is April 12th. You want to know that? I think it's April 12th. I had to look this up for another chapter. And then, of course, the other big factor is your spring break. So that's another thing that varies pretty widely, is when is your spring break. And so you don't want to obviously have a ceremony in the middle of spring break, or you don't want to have it the Thursday before spring break, because you know how students keep adding to the days they take off before spring break or after. So just be strategic about that. And then you're going to reserve a space on campus, and then begin to sort of, once you have the date in mind, you can sort of back it up and start to look at your eligibility list. So that's the next thing, is to get your list of eligible students. So not yet, because it's too soon, but students are right about to go into finals for the most part. And so as soon as grades are posted, or whenever the registrar does that, you can request that list. Some of you have your own access, which is great, and so you have your own access to educational records, and you can look that up. Or some of you have to ask it of the registrar. And so do that as soon as you can. Back to those other organizations that invite the same students, it helps if you can get your invitation out, ahead of that. And prior to those other groups clamoring for students' attention. It might just depend on when your induction date is. If it's not until mid-April, you've got some time, and you might not want to invite them too soon because they'll forget unless you have a million reminders, which you can do. But it really just depends on what your preferences are and what your timeline is. I'm going to come over back to our webpage. Like I said, there's so much information on our webpage, but if I were to point out one page in particular of all the many, many pages, it would be the chapter handbook. So that might be another one to either bookmark or just know exactly where it is, which is under chapters. If we're going back to our home page, you can just click on, oh, the internet's slow. Click on the icon for chapters or hover over here. They're the same place. Same thing. So this is all of our chapter resources, but the chapter handbook has a lot of very specific information all hyperlinked to that particular topic, but it's just a good overview of really all things new advisors sort of should be familiar with, and none of it's really too lengthy. So if you have a minute over the next 2 months of holiday and downtime and between semesters, it might be good to just sort of glance at these. And so one of them is the initiation timeline, which is a little bit of what this PowerPoint is covering. This is just some suggested timeline, but it's mirrored in our handbook on this page, initiation timeline. Again, I'm not going to read it all to you, but it just gives you a good overview of some of the tasks that need to happen. So you've got your invitation list, and now if you're ready with it, and your invitation list would be, eligible list would be an Excel document with first name, last name, and email address. That's pretty much the basic information that you need for it. Let's see. Yep. So the next thing would be then to invite the students. So a couple different ways that we suggest that you let students know they're eligible and invite them to join. An invitation letter with a brochure in it, letters home to parents, our online invitation, and any other form of promoting ALD. So let's talk a little bit about the online invitation. Is there anybody that does not use MHS? Anybody know offhand? Trying to get back to, oh, there we go. Let me just get back to my regular screen. Is there anyone, does anyone know if does pretty much everyone use MHS, the online system? Okay, so I'll just proceed with that. So people are chiming in, yes, good, good, good. Okay, great. Okay, so we'll just go with that. Let me say this, if you don't use it or you're not sure, and if you don't, but if you know that you don't, let us know, and if you want to start to use it, it's a very handy tool. And you can still send out other forms of communication to the students, but using our online membership management system is handy, efficient, and way easier on you as an advisor. You take that list and upload it to the member management system, and I won't get into all this details about that. That's another whole, that could be another whole webinar. So I'm going to point you to the resource for using MHS. Pretty simple process, we think. Of course, we've been using it for a few years, so we know, we're familiar with the ins and outs of it. But back up to our main homepage, it's really this top menu, of course, is going to be on every page, so I could have done it from there. MHS. So MHS stands for My Honor Society, and that's the company's name. It's a third-party software that we use for member management, and it's called My Honor Society, or MHS. So a student can go to this page to accept their invitation, and this is where you'd go to log in. And then this was the main thing I wanted to point out, that we spent some time developing these guides, very detailed with pictures and arrows and circles and highlights and step-by-step for everything. Just have it there in front of you and follow it step by step and you're done. So hopefully you'll find them useful. And here's the different topics that the guides cover, but you can see how user-friendly they are to help you with that process. We also offer to do it for you. If you have your list and you're ready to go, your induction ceremony is going to be April 3rd. You're all set, ready to go, but a big project just came your way, and or a kid is sick and you're taking sick time, or you're sick, let us know. We will take care of the whole thing for you. We can do every bit of it for you, sort of in your name. So keep that in mind if things get crazy in the spring semester. All right. So that's an invitation through the system. It's an email that students will get. We do recommend, if there's other things you can do to let, students need to hear about something more than once in multiple ways, multiple times, to know that it's legitimate and to remember. So have brochures around campus. Have an information session if you can. And that's just an informal evening on a Tuesday night at 7, where you tell students you got invited. If you're wondering what this is all about or why you should join or what's going on here, come to this info session, and students will just show up and have your officers talk about how great ALD is and all the benefits they got from it. So those are info sessions that you indicate right in your invitation. And then I'm actually going to turn it over to Trish real quick. So we're, if she doesn't mind. The last thing I'll say about this, and then I want to answer any questions about the invitation season or the invitation process, is in addition to the email, which frankly students don't always see, maybe it went to their spam folder, they get 5,000 emails from your institution every day, and so they're not reading everything, so they missed it. We are offering a postcard, which hopefully some of you have already heard about, but we're offering a postcard that we will, if you can send us the permanent home addresses, we'll pay for and send this postcard. So Trish, you want to mention that a little bit?
Yeah, I think, can you bring it up on your screen?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
So we piloted it last year, and it's not linked to our website, Eileen. You need to pull it up through the shared drive. So we piloted it last year, and it got pretty good traction. So we're offering it again. So we have a postcard, and what we do is you send us the home permanent addresses and mailing addresses and the names of the students. And then we will take your unique invitation code and mail merge it onto the postcard so that it says, from the University of Kentucky with your code, and it's sent directly to the students. So if you look at the screen, that's the front of, there you go. There's the front of the postcard. We just had it redesigned. So it's pretty sleek, and I think something that students and parents will respond well to. And then again, on the back side, we talk about some of the key reasons to join ALD, as well as how to accept that invitation. So even if they can't find their email, all the information that they need to accept the invitation is on the postcard.
We cover the whole thing for you, no cost to you. We got a really nice rate on a nonprofit postcard stamp, indicia, if it was called. And so we purchased these postcards in bulk and customize it to your chapter. So please let us know if we can send that. You'd have to be able to send us the addresses is the key piece there. Okay.
If you are interested and haven't yet received an email from me about it, shoot me an email and I will follow up with you about how to get signed up for that.
Great. Okay, so I think that's basically it for, again, induction ceremonies. Again, there's so much online.
Elaine, I think Lynn has a question.
Oh, yes. Wait.
Or
not
at least
here.
she raised her hand.
Yep, right. I see her talking, but we don't hear you.
How about now?
There you go.
Okay. Since I wasn't handling this last year, is there a way if you can tell me if the UK used the postcard?
I believe you did. Let me just double check.
Yeah, I think they did. You're checking.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes, they did.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Good. So that means that you can share the addresses. FERPA is another topic of another webinar, so we won't talk about FERPA right now, but if you do, just know that if you have issues with getting those addresses, either email or home addresses, please let me know, because we're all FERPA compliant, but some registrars put up red flags when they don't need to. And I'll be doing another webinar on that. The last thing was I going to say, so just as you get closer to your induction date, send reminders, make sure you know who's coming. There's ways in MHS for you to collect RSVPs, including, we strongly encourage, and pretty much every chapter does, invite students to invite family members to bring. Moms and dads love Alpha Lambda Delta. It's a beautiful ceremony if you haven't participated in one yet. Just a really nice ceremony, and families love it, and everybody's so proud and so happy, and it's a really nice event. The event itself, the ceremony itself is completely scripted, so you're not reinventing the wheel or creating anything from scratch. Back under the chapters tab, I spoke about the chapter handbook, and then the other thing to note is the chapter resources library. So this right here, called Rituals, is a PDF download of the ceremony itself, word for word. You don't have to follow every single word, but you don't have to write your own. If you wanted to create a program, one of the suggestions is to design a program for the event. And so we have some sample programs here from other universities. Just a sheet of paper folded with a title on the front, the date of your induction ceremony, and all the honor inductee names inside it. It's nice. Students love to see their name printed on something. We ship used certificates, so we're in charge of printing a custom certificate for every student, and we ship that to you with a little pin. Everybody gets a certificate and a pin, and we'll send that to you a week or so before your ceremony, so you'll have it in hand and ready to go. Okay, so you're confirming. You might want to have a cake or cupcakes or cookies. It's always nice. Balloons, whatever way you want to tell students or celebrate the occasion. Tell students. A lot of students are going to ask you what are they supposed to wear. We do see some chapters who prescribe it, or at least suggest black pants and a white top, or black skirt and white top, or it doesn't matter, wear whatever you want to wear. There's no rule about that. And then, at the event itself, take pictures and have fun with it. Again, it's all outlined in the rituals document, and it'll be a nice event. So take pictures and send us pictures, because we'll put them on our website. And then if you want to see others' pictures, take a look at. Oh, I had that already open there. You're taking up too much time here. So we have lots of pictures of induction ceremonies. You can see an example of how they look. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so last thing I'll do, and we still got 15 minutes or so. So what else? I offered last semester a webinar, and it's actually was recorded, and I'll show you where you can find it if you want to watch it, is it was something called your induction ceremony is over, now what? So what it was, there's so much focus, and it's great, and it's celebratory and beautiful ceremony, and so much focus on a spring ceremony, but that's not all that ALD is about, and we're not only focused on getting new members. We want to enhance the experience and development, leadership development, and career development of our current members. That's our focus. So there's so many opportunities to do things throughout the year, programming, promoting ALD, but also really helping develop your membership and giving them something for joining. And so hopefully you've got some strong officers in place. If not, let's talk about that. We can help with that. But this guide, and I believe this is available, Trish, is this on our website from the conference? Your version of this PowerPoint?
Yeah, so if you go to the conference section, I believe it's under chapters, you can click, there we go, the 2019, leadership conference.
Just in case, I don't know if you're jotting notes down from this PowerPoint, but a copy of a different version, but very similar copy of this PowerPoint is right there. ALD 101 right there, and that'll be up. You can grab this document here. So just give some thought to your year-round, the life of, a year in the life of an ALD chapter. So we start with June, July, and that's when orientations are. Many of you are running orientations or involved in orientations, so it's a great time to promote ALD, to promote our name and our brand. But really what that means is, and again, it's not a commercial. I don't mean it to be very commercial for ALD, but it's about helping students realize that if they do well, help motivate them to do well their first semester, that they'll be invited to join. And so one of the things we offer is a study guide, a little card you can distribute at orientation that is study tips. It looks like this. Happen to have it handy with specific study tips, and that if they take to heart all these tips and do really well, they're going to get this invitation. So other things to do in August is pretty much every college has a club fair, right? I bet your university has some sort of student organization, club fair, involvement fair, whatever they call it. There's going to be something on your campus in the fall, usually in August or September. ALD should be at that club fair, tabling and promoting, distribute study guides, that sort of thing. And then talk to your members as they return to campus about what the returning members, what they want to do and what kinds of things they want to get engaged in or involved in. Speakers at weekly meetings or monthly meetings, bring a speaker in once a month from your campus. It's not anyone you have to hire or pay for. Your scholarship office, your career development office on resume writing, scholarship office on what scholarships are available to students, career development counseling center to help them deal with stress or mental health issues, the leadership office on campus for leadership development opportunities. So those are easy and free to bring those speakers in to meetings and invite members. You might want to do a newsletter, one in the fall and one in the spring, involvement fairs we talked about. We offer a national leadership conference. You're invited to attend. We take up to 2 students and 1 advisor every year. This is our conference page. We just sort of point out, we do post the content from previous years. We host our conference in October every year, and this year, well, next, it'll be in Tampa, Florida. So give some thought to attending that and bring 2 students with you. Another idea is if you can get into any freshman seminar classes. A lot of your colleges and universities will have first-year seminars or freshman seminars. Some of our very successful chapters are able to get 5 minutes into every at the beginning of every section, or whatever you can arrange with your first-year seminar office or whoever's coordinating it. If they'll allow you 5 minutes in every section, university I worked at had like 52 sections of freshman seminar, so it could be a lot. Some might just have 20 or 30 sections, and some you don't offer it at all. But it's nice to bring a couple student officers with you and talk about ALD at the at each section of freshman seminar. Right now, as the semester winds down again, keep with the meetings and speakers and communicating with them, see what they want to do, and try and engage the membership for at least assess them and see what kinds of programs they'd like to see on campus. A big one, of course, would be service projects as well. So we put a strong emphasis on service. So that's a great wide open field for how to involve students throughout the year. Students are pretty willing to do service projects. They're very used to it from high school. We do pick a theme every year. We don't prescribe service. We don't require numbers of hours, and we don't have any one national philanthropy organization. A lot of fraternities and sororities do that, but we do not do that. But we do offer a theme idea every year. Last year it was animals, the year before was the environment, and this year it is children. So pretty broad, but could be anything. We do give some ideas here. Our theme is children, and then here's our ideas with some links and resources. If you're stuck on what to do with your members this year or this, next semester, this might give you some ideas that has a focus on children. Okay. Then we're back to where we already started, which is recruitment efforts and our scholarship. All of our scholarship deadlines are in the spring, so keep an eye out for that. And then the Flame magazine. Trish, can you mention just something about the Flame magazine and its timing?
Yeah, so I'm working on it right now. Chapters can submit information, like a little spotlight if you want to be in it. That deadline was December 1st, so make sure you get that on your calendar for next year if you didn't submit anything this year. So we highlight our chapters, what they're doing, scholarship winners. We have some Q&As with students and alumni, and we offer some content articles as well. So the online version will be available probably mid-January, and the each chapter can receive up to 10 printed copies of the magazine as well. So we'll mail those out probably in early February. We also send copies to all of the people featured in the magazine, like our scholarship winners and people that are profiled.
Thank you. As you can see here, our focus has shifted to an online version, as many print is not as popular, so we've moved to this online version, a really nice interactive, it sort of looks like a magazine on your computer. All I would say about this is that as a new advisor, if you're wondering, what am I supposed to be doing with this group on campus, and what do other chapters do, and how can we be active on campus? This magazine is the highlights of all of our best chapters. So there's going to be a lot of information in here from past years that share ideas and give you examples, and especially the spotlight section. We highlight all the scholarship winners, but I don't know if I can find it easily, but there'll be, we do post pictures if you send us of your service projects.
There you go.
So here's an example of the chapters who sent us information about what they're doing. So feel free to absolutely steal any idea you ever see in the magazine from any other chapter. If you see something that you think would click on your campus, contact that advisor and say, hey, how did you do this program? We want to do something similar, or just copy it and do it on your campus. And just know that all of our contact information is available online. So if you want to contact another chapter advisor in your state, maybe you've got a chapter an hour away or next door, across the street, Kalamazoo and Western Michigan, two chapters right next to each other. Kentucky's got a ton of chapters, Wisconsin, you've got a lot of chapters in that state. So if you ever want to reach out and do anything regionally or with a few other chapters, do a service project together or collaborate on something, they're all in the same boat. So every chapter is listed here, and the chapter advisor and their email address is available as well. So we do it by alphabet and by state, but you'll see everybody's contact information here. So feel free to reach out on your own, would be great. Okay, as you wrap up the academic year in the spring, you want to look towards identifying new new officers. Sorry, we offer a whole lot of information regarding new officers as well. So back to that handbook I mentioned, there's a whole section on transitions, officer transitions. I'm sure it's right here. Here we go. Officer transition plan. Sample position descriptions and applications. You could just appoint. You don't have to do elections. You'll see that it's whatever works for you to identify your new chapter officers works for us. Just it's nice to have student leadership in place to help them run the activities and programs on campus. We really like pictures. Trying to get have our website more photograph focused, because we know students like to see that, and our social media is also very leans towards pictures and memes and graphics. We really are trying to beef up our following on our social media. We're at National ALD on all of our platforms. So Facebook, our website, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Did I miss any? Twitter? Yeah, all the usuals. So as much as you can follow us would be great. We post a lot on all the platforms. Trish does a nice job posting different content on different accounts. So if you could encourage students to follow us as well, it helps with ALD's image if we have a good number of followers. And we do already, but can always have more. Scrapbooks, so we don't really talk about this, but we do offer an award for the most outstanding chapters of every across the country. And so that's called the Order of the Torch. So if you want to compete for the Order of the Torch award, you put together a scrapbook of photographs and documents that sort of document your year on campus. And so it's a nice award, and it's usually fun to put together that scrapbook. Back in the day, there were real scrapbooks, for those who know anything about scrapbooking, which I don't really know a whole lot, but they would literally, buy these big bound books and paste, glue documents to it. Now they're pretty much electronic as we advance in technology. We don't collect scrapbooks anymore, physical big books with glued pages. They're all pretty much electronic. Another great resource for what to do with your chapter and how to program with them and what are some good ideas are the scrapbooks, because these are award-winning chapters, and this is exactly how they've documented. And so you can click on any of these winners from last year and scroll through their whole scrapbook and see what they did. And then you could develop your own scrapbook as well and compete for the award. Okay, so I think we are winding down. We've talked a lot about the resources. So the handbook I mentioned, the resource library I mentioned. We do have a Facebook group for advisors. So if you're not already, you're about to see my personal Facebook group here. If you're not already a member of the advisor group, please join. It's a private, closed group. We don't all have to be, friends on Facebook, but you can join this group of advisors and post questions and get information from each other. So if you're not already a member, we've got 163 advisors are part of it. So it's a nice collaborative resource. And then, of course, our website. Okay, so these are our social media, as I mentioned. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing and let's see if there is anything else. Trish, any other thoughts outside of that PowerPoint?
No, actually, I had a whole list and kept checking them off because you kept hitting them all. Just a reminder that we are here to help you. We get paid to do this, and we know that you don't. So if you need help, whether it's I can't upload this list, or I don't have time to, or can you proof this email before I send it out because I don't want to send out the wrong thing to 3,000 students, we're here to help. So please email Eileen and myself, because we will do what we can to help you succeed.
Right. Yeah, and again, you know, the whole point of this webinar is you're new. So we don't expect everybody to know all there is to know. But we also, just to piggyback on that, sometimes I hear from advisors, I'll get an email, I hate to bother you again, or it might be a third question in a week. And we love questions. We love it. Never, ever, ever a bother. It could be 6 in an hour. It really doesn't matter. It's actually quite rewarding to get questions because it means that you're interested and you want a successful chapter, and it's all about the student for us. We want as many students as possible to be recognized because it's a good thing and they benefit from it. And that's what we're all about. So we want to help you do that as well. So thank you so much for everyone for being here. Reach out if you have questions. We're happy you're here, and thanks for all you do.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.